Okay, so we're going to do a couple things with probability and some compound events. We did a compound event where we had an or in there, which is why we used a plus. And now we're going to do a couple of different ones. So the first thing I would like you guys to look at is the sample space that you have in front of you. I would keep this till the end of this unit at least, maybe until the end of this semester, because you might, excuse me, because you might want this for the final exam. I've got all the cards. I might do this too. I might write the words that these are red, these are red, these are black, these are black. If we could stop now, please, that would be great. Aaron. Okay. So we have a sample space of all the cards, and then we have one of all the dice. So when we talk about sums of dice, we have this information. Okay? So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to do some compound events. Okay? So I'm looking right here at Algebra 2 Part 1 Compound Events Worksheet. So the first thing we're talking about is if you draw a card from a deck labeled 1 through 10 and toss a die. So the first thing we're doing is we're not dealing with 2 die here. We're not doing with cards, traditional deck of cards. We're dealing with cards that have a 1 through 10. So I'm going to write my little sample space right here at the top because sometimes that's easier. I've got card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got card 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Shh. And I've got a traditional dice, traditional die. So it's got 6 options when I've got a dice, 6 sides it can land on. Whoever phone is playing, can we turn it off while I'm teaching, please? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay? So I've got that for me to be able to answer these questions. Okay. If you draw a card from a deck labeled 1 through 10, and then the second part is toss a dice, find the probability of the following outcomes. Okay? So I want to do this, excuse me. There shouldn't be any talking going on, please. I'm in the middle of teaching and recording this. Shh. Okay. I'm going to draw a card that's 10, and I'm going to toss my dice, and it's going to land on 3. So I have to have both of them for it to count. All right. How many cards do I have? How many are written right here? 10. So I want to pick just the 10 cards. So there's only a 1 shot out of 10. Are we okay with that so far? We're going to multiply it because it says and. I've got to do both things. How many options do I have to get a 3 when I roll 1 dice? 1 option for it. Okay, again, if you cannot stop talking in my class, you can head right down to ISS, but there's no more talking while I'm teaching. If you want to answer a question, that's fine. No conversations. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 1 out of 6. 1 out of 6. Okay. So now we have to multiply them. 1 times 1 is 1. 10 times 6 is 60. So there's a 1 out of 60 chance of drawing a 10 and then rolling a 3. Okay? All right. 2 even numbers. So let's talk about which ones of these are even. 2 is even. 4, 6, 8, 10. And then if I have my dice, I have 2, 4, and 6. Okay? All right. So how many possibilities are there out of my 10 cards? So I know the bottom is going to be 10. What's the top going to be? 5 times, how many options do I have here? I've got 6, and how many of them are even? 3. So 5 times 3 is, and 10 times 6 is 60. 15 over 16 reduces to what?
15 over 16?
Over 60. 1/4, right? Questions? Okay. 2 prime numbers. Now, which ones are prime? So 1's prime, 2's prime, 3's prime, 5's prime, 7's prime, 9 is not. Prime means you can only divide it by itself and a number. So 1, you can only divide by itself. 2, you can only divide by 1 and 2. 3, like nothing else. Like 9, I could divide by 3, so it can't be a prime. So that's what prime means. Divide it by itself and 1. Like 13. Nothing goes into 13 evenly, right? Except 1 and 13. But if you look at 12, 12 you can divide it by 2, 6, 3, 4, so it can't be prime. So these are my prime numbers for my cards. My prime numbers for my die is 1, 2, and 5. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10. And I've got 1, 2, 3 out of 6. So that's again 15 out of 60 or 1/4. Questions so far? Go back to which one? 3. Okay, so my prime numbers are 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7 out of my cards. So that's 5 out of 10. Okay? And my dice, my prime numbers are 1, 2, and 5, so that's 3 out of 6. So then I just multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, and then simplify. 1/4. Okay, number 4. 2 odd numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odd numbers. So I've got 5 out of 10 again. And 3 out of 10. 3 out of 6, excuse me. 3 times 6 is 15. 10 times 6 is 60. 3 out of 6. 10 times 6, I'm sorry, is 60. So 15 over 60 is 1/4 again. An even number and a prime number. Prime. So I've got 5 out of 10 for the first one. And how many are prime? 3. So again, it's 3 out of 6. So again, it's 1/4. Okay, a 7 and then a 5. How many chances do I have out of picking out of 10 cards a 7? 1 out of 10, because there's only 1 7. See my cards? I only have 1 7 out of that whole thing. Okay? How many chances do I have of rolling a 5 out of the die? 1 out of 6. So that's 1 out of 60. Questions? 1 out of 60 can't be reduced, no. All right, let's talk about some pencils. I've got 4 red pencils, 6 green pencils, and 5 yellow pencils. How many pencils do I have altogether? 15. Okay. I want to pick once they're selected, it is not replaced. Find the probability of each outcome. So this is where I get a little bit confused sometimes when I talk about not replaced. If I zoom in a little bit, is that better? A little bit better? Okay, so how many red pencils are there?
4.
So I get 4 out of 15 times, because I want and a yellow pencil. How many yellow pencils are there? 5, but how many pencils are there if I did not replace that red pencil? 14. So 4 times 5 is 9. And then what's 15 times 14? 4 times 5 is 20. You're correct. I cannot multiply today. Apparently I'm adding. 15 times 14 is 210. So 20 divided by 210 is 2 over 21. 2 over 21. How are we feeling about that? What are we talking about? The 2 green. Okay, so let's do the green because we have to draw one and then we have to draw the next one. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's do it then. So, how many green are there? So I have 6 out of 15, correct? Now the next, I've taken a green out. So, how many pencils do I have left? If I take 1 pencil out, I have 14. And I've taken 1 green. So that means 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Yeah. 15 times 14 is 210. So I get 1/7. Okay, number 9. How many green pencils are there? 6. And when I take my first draw, it's out of how many pencils? 15. Okay. Now I've got yellow pencils. How many yellow pencils do I have? But how many do I have to draw out of now? 14. Okay. 6 times 5 is 30. 15 times 14 is 210. And that reduces to 1/7. Okay, do I have questions about this? Okay, let's look at number 10. In a bag, there are 3 marbles, 3 red marbles, 2 yellow marbles, and 1 blue marble. How many marbles are there altogether? 3, 2, and 1? 6. Yep, there's 6. Okay, so I've got 6 marbles. I want to draw a red marble, and it's not being replaced, and then I want to draw a yellow marble. Draw out, take out. It's like it's in a bag, so I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so how many red marbles are there? 3 out of 6, right? But now how many marbles do I have left in the bag? So I've got 5 left, and how many of them are yellow? 2. Good. So I have 3 red marbles, so I have 3 out of 6 chance of drawing a red marble, right? No, first you take a red, and then you take a yellow. So there is a 3 out of 6 chance to pull a red. Then there's a 2 out of 5 chance to pull a yellow. Right. Okay. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 5 is? And 6 over 30 reduces to? 1/5. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to take a blue marble. How many blue marbles are there? So we got 1 out of 6 times, then we take a yellow marble. 2 out of 5. So we get 2 over 30, which is 1/15. Okay. 1 over 15. Sorry. All right. A red marble and then a blue marble. 3 over 6, good. And then 1 over 5, good. 3 times 6 is 3. 6 times 5 is 30, so that's 1/10. How are we feeling about this? You got to kind of think about it. I feel like saying it out loud is actually easier than doing it on your own. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, so, yep. So how many of them are not yellow? 4. Not yellow. So I get 4 out of 6, and then 2 over 5. Good. 4 times 2 is 8. 6 times 5 is 30. 8 over 30 reduces to 4/15. Okay, a red marble 3 times in a row. So how many red marbles are there? So I get 3 out of 6, and then what's the next one? Good, and then what's the next one? Good. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Yes. So it wouldn't be 2 over 6, it'd be 2 over 5, 1 over 4. Miss Murphy speaking. Sure. Yeah, bye. Buddy, they need you in the main office. So it would be 6 times 5 times 4, which would be 120. Then 6 divided by 120 is 1 over 20. What are you asking, Abby? Oh, I thought you said how. And I was like, all right. Now we're doing the same thing. If you look, these are the same exact problems. Here, have Miss S for you. Okay. For this next one, we are replacing it each time. So that's going to look different. Okay. So there are still 6 marbles that are possible that are in the bag. And there's always going to be 6 marbles because we're going to draw it out and then place it back in. So first we have red marbles, so there's 3 out of 6. And then we put the red marble back, and what are the chances to get a yellow? 2 out of 6, good. 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 divided by 36 is 1/6. It's always going to be over 6 because we always keep putting the marble back. Once we take it out, we look at it, we put it back in the bag. Because it says it is replaced. If it says not replaced, you do it like above, replaced as you do this. Okay. Blue marble. How many blue marbles are there? 1 out of 6. And then how many yellow? 2 out of 6. Good. So we get 2 out of 36, which is 1/18th, I believe. Okay. A red marble. Blue marble. So we get 3 out of 36, which is 1/12. Shh. I got a couple more to do, guys. Any color marble except yellow, and then yellow. So how many are not yellow? 4 out of 6, and then yellow. How many yellows are there? 2 out of 6. So we get 8 over 36, which reduces to 2/9. Okay, 3 red marbles all in a row. So we get 3 out of, and then we put it back each time, so it's also, and then the last one. Okay, so 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. 27 divided by 216 is 1/8. So my people that were participating, that was better than I thought it was going to go. All right, I've got 2 more problems that I'm going to give you. Just 2. That I'm going to do with you, and then I'm going to let you work on your homework. So this little half sheet is what we're going to do right now. So we're kind of using permutations and combinations, it says, with probability, but really I think it's the counting practice. The state of Michigan's license plate has 3 letters followed by 4 numbers. How many different license plates are possible? So we know how to do this. We've got 3 letters, 26, 26, 26, and then we've got 4 numbers, times 10. These are all multiplied together, times 10, times 10, times 10. So we get 169 million. Okay, so now what are the chances of the 3 letters being WTF? So, thanks. Somebody got my humor. Okay, What is the chance of getting a W out of 26? 1 out of 26. What are the chances of getting a T out of 26? 1 out of 26. What are the chances of getting a F out of 26? Okay, but then we times it by 10. Okay? And we're going to end up with 10,000 out of 169 million. Okay? So there's only a 1 in 16,900 chance. So unless you ask for it, you're probably not going to get WTF on your license book. Good. We're going to do this lottery one, and then we're going to be done. Okay. In the Powerball lottery, you win the jackpot by matching 5 numbers chosen from 1 to 69. An additional number from 1 to 26. What is the exact probability of winning? Okay, so we have 69, 69, 69, 69, 69. So we have 5 69s, and then times 26, right? Because 1 out of 69 can be pulled for the Powerball, and then 1 out of 26. We have 5, because we have 5 numbers, and then 1 additional number out of 26 to get the Powerball. Yep. So we end up with 40664815074 possibilities. So that's, hold on, I gotta put my, so I think it's 40,664,815,074 possibilities. Okay, and I want to know, those are the possibilities, what are my chances of getting all of these correct? So this is going to be a little bit different. These are that's my possibilities. Now what are my chances? So I've got 1 out of 69 to get the first Powerball, correct? But they don't replace the Powerball. So what are my chances to get the second one? 1 out of, not 69, but 68. I don't know why you're saying 65. And then 1 out of 67. And then 1 out of 66. And then 1 out of 65, right? And then it's 1 out of 26. So my chances of winning are 1 out of, hold on. So go ahead and play the Powerball if you want it, but your chances are to get it is 1 out of 35,064,160,560 chances of winning the Powerball. Well, and this is why they make money off of it, right? Because there's only this big of a chance of doing it. So you could have everybody buy it for $1 and nobody win. And then they make a lot of money, right? Okay, so this is just for the Powerball. We can figure out the $100 one. I would have to get some stats on it. Okay, so your homework looks very similar to this. I gave you some practice on this. You do not have to do number 4. Excuse me, I'm taking away part of your homework. You do not have to do number 4 in your homework. You have to do 1, 2, and 3 in your homework. You do not have to do number 4. And come on.